Hi, my name is Brian Croyle, and my wife Adrian and I and our two boys have been a part of New Life for about 2.5 years. And just really happy to be able to share this, some thoughts with you today. I think it's great that we're doing a series out of John chapter 1, John's prologue. It's kind of funny to say, but it's probably my favorite Christmas text, which is kind of funny to say because, there's not any discussion of shepherds or wise men or the angels. But what we do get in John 1 is insight into, I'll say, the why of the incarnation. Why would God come from heaven down to earth? Why would he make such a sacrifice for us? And one of the verses that we're looking at this week really gives us, I think, some insight into part of that why. And that's John 1, verse 12, and I'd like to share that with you right now. It says, "To all who received him and believed in him, he gave the right to become children of God." I think John was very intentional in the language he used there. I think he was very intentional in the metaphor he used. John could have said that to all who received him and believed in him, he gave the right to be forgiven, the right to be saved. And those are both absolutely true. That is part of what the coming of Jesus has done for us. But John didn't say that. He said he gave them the right to become children of God. And that's a very different mental image. If I think of what it means to be saved and forgiven, I can think about participating in church or being part of a small group, and those are beautiful, wonderful things. But John's going deeper. He's giving us the image of being a child. Children run to their parents, whether they're happy or whether they're scared, right? Children, they're unafraid to come to their parents. They're unafraid to sit in the lap and just be held by their parents. This is the image that I think John was trying to get us to recognize. God is not just calling us to salvation, as beautiful and as important as that is. He's calling us to intimacy with him. And that's something that's become more and more real for me over the last a few years. I've learned a little bit more how to rest in God. I think it started when I first came across the book Gentle and Lowly that we did earlier this year at church. And but I really started to slow down more and allow myself to just rest in God, rest in Jesus, and be able to experience his love for me. I can spend all the time I want to learning about God, but God wants us to not just know about him, he wants us to know him. And so, that's my encouragement to you this week. If you're familiar, maybe you're familiar with the author Philip Yancey. One time he had a conversation with a woman, a chance meeting in an airport. And after they'd had this conversation back and forth, she just stopped him and she said, "Philip, do you ever just let God love you? I think it's pretty important." And it just stopped Philip dead in his tracks. And he realized the power of that simplistic statement. The goal that God has for us is that we would know his love for us, that we would respond to that love, that we would enter into a loving relationship with him as his children. And so my question to you today is this: do you ever just let God love you? I encourage you to do that today. Take the time to stop, to rest, to let him hold you in his arms and tell you how much he loves you.